Greetings mod lovers across the universe, DW here along with no one else because this is Mod Explaining. In the last episode I ended up showing you two programs. One ended up digging straight down, the other ended up using monitors. In this video I'm going to be showing you three different types of programs that ends up using three different types of turtles. Now in the past I've only ended up actually using one certain turtle in order to show off code, which was the mining turtle. In this video I'm going to actually be using three different types of turtles. I'm going to be using the digging turtle, the felling turtle and the farming turtle. But without further ado, let's begin. Yeah, so in this video I'm going to be showing you three different programs using three different turtles. Now the first one I'm going to start with is the digging turtle. Now usually in these recordings I usually end up, hold on, first let me go into the disk. Usually I end up saying what I'm going to do and then I end up writing out a program, but in order to make this a bit easier for me, ls, I've ended up actually writing out in each and every one of these turtles the program that I'm going to be using. Now you're all probably thinking, but DW, in order for this to work, you need to end up writing out the program to show us how the program works and how we can end up writing it out so we can end up using this program. Well, don't worry. Although I have written this out, whatever you would like to call it, edit, I'm going to end up going into the program itself, edit digger, and I'm actually going to end up showing you all the code in the program. Now, some of these, three of these programs, well, at least some of these, are actually quite big. So, I'm going to slowly go through this code. And while I actually go through it, I'm actually going to speed it up. Not too much, obviously, or else you won't be able to actually read any of it or type any of it out. But I'm going to slowly go through it on my side, but it should be fast but not too fast so you can still read it for yours. So you can end up writing out this code when you're using computercraft and you can end up using this program. So without further ado, let's begin. And I'm going to end up going to speed motion while I slowly go through all this code. Speed motion. Okay, viewers, we're back. Now, this code is actually 91 lines long, so it's not as long as some programs I've ended up writing in the past, but in this video, I'd like to end up actually making it a bit shorter than usual. So now all I need to do is actually quickly show you the program, albeit show you what it does. So if I go to digger, now, this is what it basically ends up doing. This is what the program should end up doing. Sorry that I repeated that. I'm just trying to think about what it ends up doing. Basically, if I end up typing this out, it should end up coming up with width. Now, here's what the program basically does. Sorry, I repeated that 3 times. It should end up asking you 3 things. It should end up asking for the width, the length, and the height. It's basically asking you how much do you actually want it. Do you actually want the length, the width to be this much long, or the length to be this much more long, and the height to be this much low. That's basically what it's asking. Now, I've already ended up laying out some dirt for it. Now, what I actually want it to do, this program, I want it to end up digging, I want the width to be 5, the length to be 5, and the height to be 2. So dig down 2. So I'm going to quickly do that. But before I actually begin, one last thing I'd like to add. With this program, there's one weird little thing about it. You see, with this program, the width and the length end up actually adding certain things to it. So if you actually wanted it to end up doing, say, the width to be, say, 5, you need to end up actually doing 4. And if you end up doing 5, instead it will be 6. So I'm going to end up doing 4. So with the width, it's for some reason ends up adding one more digit to this. You'll understand as I go along. Now, as for the length, it ends up adding at least 2 along. So in order for this, I need to actually do 3. And finally, the height doesn't actually add anything on it. So I don't actually need to end up adding the height. So end up telling you what blah, blah, blah. You get the picture. So if I end up actually quickly doing this, it should end up digging 5 across here. It should end up just digging, the width should be 5, the length should be 5, and it should be 2 down. So without further ado, let me quickly show you. Rhyme. Okay. Oh yeah, one last thing I'd like to add. When obviously using programs, what? That's interesting. Oh, I must have done this wrong. Sorry. I know what's happening. When I was planning all of this out, I put the blocks in the wrong places. Nothing to worry about, people. Nothing to worry about. So it's removed all the blocks over there. Let me quickly get rid of these blocks. I think I'm getting a bit of lag. It must be because the turtles are moving. So as you can see here, it's right now I think it's the width. The width is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The width is now 5, and the it should be done in a second. The length is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it's only 1 deep, so it's going to need to end up doing, yeah, it's going to need to end up digging that much. So I just need to wait until it's done. Anytime now, buddy. Okay. Now this actually doesn't take that long, so I'm actually not going to speed it up. Oh, and that's a cool thing to add. Seeing that this turtle actually needs space in order for it to work, it looks like it's done now. A cool thing in the code is that it ends up actually telling, when it ends up getting to a full stack of something, it ends up throwing it out to reserve space. So that's actually 5 width and the 5 length, and it's 2 down. So that's basically how it works. And let me quickly go back go up 2. Sorry. Go up 2. Okay, that's just to end up showing you what it does. So now if I end up doing digger again, and just remember, if you want to end up doing 5, you need to end up actually making something like 4. Tell you what, okay, for this, I'm going to end up doing this. Okay, so say if you wanted it to be 3, in order for this, you just need to end up adding, say, 2? Yeah, this should work. And if you wanted the length to be 3, you need to end up adding 1, because it ends up adding 2 more digits to it. And obviously I just need 2, because I want it to be 2 down. It's right now just checking if there's any dirt in front of it on the top level, which there isn't. So now it should end up just doing this. Okay. Right, and now it's just doing that. And now it's going to end up going back to the same place, then going down. So basically, if you want a turtle that ends up digging straight down, to be honest, I think this program's more useful for a mining turtle than a digging turtle. Although, it depends on how much you want to dig down. If you want to dig down only a certain amount, then the digging turtle will be perfect. If you want to dig all the way down, like we did with that other program, then the mining turtle will be much better. But this program, I think, is actually quite incredible, because it ends up actually you can end up actually telling the turtle how much you want to end up dig down and how much you end up wanting the hole to be, which is actually pretty impressive, I must admit. But that's the digging turtle, and I think I've explained enough about how the program works. Now I'm going to end up going to the felling turtle, I believe it is. Yeah, the felling turtle, I'm pretty sure. Now, let me quickly go CD disk, spelt it wrong, and then ls. Once again, I've already ended up making the program. Now I just need to end up showing you the code. Now, this program, let me quickly show you all the code. Now, the cool thing about this program is there's not much code. Sorry. There's not much code to this, so it actually doesn't take that long. And what the program does doesn't actually do that much either. So save. So it won't actually take that long either. Basically, what this program actually does, it ends up, if you end up placing the turtle right in front of a tree, it ends up digging all the wood in the tree and then goes straight to where the tree started. I'll end up showing you. Oh, while this is slowly going along, I'd like to end up adding one thing. Make sure when you're actually using these programs to end up putting coal in. I think I mentioned that before, but I probably didn't. So yeah, as you can see here, I think I could go. Oh, now it's dropping stuff. The only problem with this program I've found is that it just keeps going and never stops. You need to do Control T in order for it to stop. So I'm gonna go back one, and let me quickly get rid of these leaves, and then I'll show you it doing it again. It ends up doing it with each tree. You've already seen it basically do it, but I'd rather show it twice so you get a better understanding. Okay. Now, if I end up doing it again, wait. First, I need to end up adding a tree in, obviously, and then bone meal. Anytime now. There we go. And yeah, all you need to do is just basically place the turtle right in front of a tree, and it'll just start mining. The only problem with this I can find is that you need to end up keep on moving the turtle with floppy disk and disk drives. But besides that, it's actually quite useful. Okay, so that was the felling turtle. Again, I'm so sorry. Again, how that's pronounced just baffles my mind. I don't know why. Now we're going to end up getting onto the last turtle, which is the farming turtle. Now, before we actually begin, I'd like to end up saying this. I'll quickly get rid of all these leaves, or else that's going to bother me. That's just going to set off my, what's it called? I'll just blame it on my autism, I don't know. The word will come to me. Now, I'd like to end up mentioning something. Now, that's actually all the code that I actually ended up finding from other people online. They're all probably thinking this, but DW, does that mean the end of the episode? Of course not. I haven't even shown you the farming turtle yet. No. What this, sorry. No, the reason why I've already ended up showing you all the... Sorry, I'm not actually getting this across. The reason why those two other turtles, technically I'm done with showing you code from other people, is because originally I did actually end up finding someone online who ended up showing a farming program that you use with the farming turtle, but his code was actually so big and so long. Long story short, it kept on failing on me. I couldn't actually figure out what kept making it stop. It kept working for a little while, but eventually it would get to a point and then suddenly stop working, which just kept bothering me. I tried to make it work with, I basically looked through the code time and time again, couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So eventually I did what any reasonable person would do. I got fed up and ended up making my own program. Now, hold on, CD disk. And if I end up doing ls, now I'm going to end up showing you all the code in this program. Okay, now before I actually show you all the code in this program, unlike the felling turtle, there is actually a lot of code in this, and it will actually take me a long time just to get through all of this, so I'm actually going to end up speed motioning this. Obviously still that you can end up seeing it, but not so much that it takes forever. So I'll be right back once I end up showing you all the code, and I guess I'll see you once I'm looking through all the code. Speed motion. Okay, viewers, we're back, and as you can see here, there is a lot of code. Look how much it goes up to, 398. Now, there's actually a reason why this program is so long. I made it. When I was actually doing this, I didn't actually care how long it was. The only thing I cared about is that it actually worked because of how much wasted time I had with that other guy I watched, and his program kept failing on me. So I basically just ended up just using a lot of functions and turtle dot program code. Sorry, not programs, code in order to make this work. And even though it is actually a very long program, it actually ends up working beautifully. Now, before I obviously start the program, I need to actually explain what it does. Basically, what this program actually does, it ends up actually doing a lot. It basically ends up hoeing the ground. It ends up going in a certain motion, hoeing the ground, going in a certain pattern. Then, when it's done, it turns around, then ends up planting seeds. Then it gets all the way to here. Then when it's done, it ends up fertilizing the seeds with bone meal, and then finally after that, when it's done, it ends up getting all the wheat, because seeing that we're only having seeds, it ends up getting all the wheat, and then it ends up just basically going back to its place. So basically, it's the ultimate farming turtle. One last thing I'd like to mention. Obviously, you just don't need seeds. You can end up having stuff like carrots if you want a carrot farm, or a potato farm. It's not just for wheat, obviously, so don't just end up just using it for wheat. Make sure to use it for stuff like carrots or potatoes for farms like that. And okay, so now I'm going to quickly go over here. One last thing I'd like to mention before we actually get onto the the code at hand. When actually writing all this out, and when you finally written all this out and end up using it, make sure to end up having in slot 1 and 2, 2 seeds, or two stacks of carrots, or 2 stacks of seeds, or 2 stacks of potatoes, depending on what you're going to use this program form to farm. And make sure to have in slots 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 full stacks of bone meal, because this program actually ends up using a lot of bone meal. Now, I'm going to end up running it. Okay, and now it's just hoeing the ground. Oh, one last thing I'd like to mention. You obviously see that there's water actually here. That's mainly because water can end up traveling a long distance for ground, so it can end up making the ground wet for the plants. Okay, I believe that's the last thing I need to explain. But believe you me, this program is actually quite good, but it actually takes a very long time to, well, run and be done. Rhyme. So I'm going to end up doing a speed motion until it ends up finally finishing, and you end up seeing what it does. So I'll be right back after this speed motion. Speed motion. Okay, viewers, we're back, and it is done. The program ended up finishing, and now let's quickly look inside it. And you can end up seeing all the wheat it actually managed to collect. Um, Also, one last thing I'd like to add. You may have noticed that while I was actually doing that, there was I think I counted at least 2 wheat that didn't fully grow. When I was actually doing this program, I ended up actually telling it to end up placing bone meal, say, 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. But sometimes with certain wheat, it ends up only growing if you end up adding bone meal, say 4 times. But I only ended up finding out that after I ended up testing out the program, and I didn't exactly want to change it. But most of the time, it only takes 3 in order for it to grow. Sorry. So I still say it's actually quite a good program, even though say um, two or 1 wheat doesn't fully grow. Sometimes even 0 wheat doesn't fully grow. But yeah, that's my program. Sorry that it's so long, but hopefully you can end up using it. I actually find it quite good that I ended up actually making this and it actually works perfectly. But yeah. Now that's actually all the code and programs I actually have to show you. But there is actually one last thing I'd like to show. Now, you may have noticed this little turtle here. Hold on, let me quickly move all the stuff out of the way. There's a main reason this turtle is actually here. Now, while I was actually testing around with all the stuff over there, while I was actually testing around with the felling turtle, I actually found something out. If you end up actually getting loads of different types of dyes and end up right-clicking the turtle, you can end up actually dyeing the turtle to any color you actually want. So if you wanted blue, any color you actually want. So hold on. Okay, so let me quickly get the one over here. God damn it. So if you want it to be it could basically be any color you actually want, even white. Fun fact is that I was actually, the main reason I actually found this out was I ended up actually using bone meal in order to grow the trees to see if this program actually worked. By accident, I accidentally right-clicked the turtle with bone meal and ended up turning white. Then I actually started to test around with loads of dyes, and turns out you can end up dyeing it. So if you actually want it to be a certain color, I prefer dark blue. If you actually want it to be your turtle to actually have a certain color instead of it just being regular old grey, then you can end up actually dyeing it to whatever dye you end up wanting it to have. Yeah, that's actually a fun fact I actually learnt just by accident. But anyway, that's actually all I actually have time to show today. Whoops, I misclicked. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like. If you want to post your channel, make sense to your friends, your cats, your goldfish. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye!